don't make sense to me in general.
Well,
They kind of freak me out, but it's fine. I'll survive somehow.
Rose sent me this, the type of movies you watch that could have prepared you for the pandemic. Now, first of all, Rose, are you a fan of this genre of movie?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
So it's zombie and horror films that have mentally prepared people for the pandemic. I personally I'm not a big horror guy. Well, no, that's not true because I like horror movies. I don't like blood and guts. Like I like the Saw movies.
Yeah.
Up until the part where there's like body parts flying.
But you're also a big fan of like The Walking Dead too.
Yes. So that is also true, and like I like the not Conjuring, but
The Conjuring. That movie
there
was. I avoided that movie because that looked terrifying.
Insidious, I think, was the one I liked.
That also looked terrifying.
But didn't you do like the hauntings of Hill House of Bly Manor?
I did the Haunting of Hill House. Started watching Bly Manor. Couldn't
get into it?
Couldn't do it by myself. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Because I just no.
How many did you get into it?
Like maybe one or two.
Really?
Yeah.
That's, man.
I know. It's really bad. I'm sure it's good. I like the psychological thrillers, but like sometimes it's just too much for me. And during a pandemic, it was just a little too much for me.
Yeah, I would say the worst thing about The Haunting of Bly Manor was the accents. The gotta be hands down the worst British accents in the history of like film.
Yeah.
Like that part was bad. So the University of Chicago did a study about they wanted to find the factors beyond personality that contributed to people's psychological preparedness for resilience in the face of a pandemic. Mm-hmm. And they say that like movies was a big part of that because since you like kind of convince yourself you've seen something similar to this, you can get through it. I mean, I don't know. Being a Walking Dead fan, and I haven't watched like the last 2 seasons, I don't know if it necessarily made me more ready for the pandemic as much as like I just love being home.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like a lot of people, it's more of like a maybe like a mental, you like mentally prepare for in case of a zombie apocalypse. Like you're like, okay, this is my game plan of how I'm going to survive type of thing. So you're kind of like already in that, I don't want to call it like the the doomsday preppers or whatever, but like kind of similar to like you just kind of, your imagination runs a little wild.
Well, that actually, so they go on to say, that's you're 100% right in that, Rose, that they say that stories are like mental rehearsals for future challenges. So like watching like the Doomsday movie is like you're mentally preparing for what you're gonna do when something happens.
Yeah.
Which that I get, but the problem is like, you know, if zombies ever come, everybody's going for the headshot. But what if it's not that kills a zombie? What if it's a kick to the shin is what you gotta do to kick a zombie?
Yeah.
And here I am, you know, blasting headshots sideways, and it turns out like, nah, bro, I just gotta kick him in the shin.
Yeah.
I'm practicing for the wrong thing.
That very well could happen, but I feel like the head is more likely.
Well, it's a zombie, bro.
It makes
you
more
don't know.
sense.
You don't know, Sway.
Zombies don't make sense to me in general.
Well,
they kind of freak me out, but it's fine. I'll survive somehow. I have Clint.
They go on to say your understanding of pandemics and other life-changing events is similar to future challenges. It's an absolutely inevitable. So I guess because you know there's going to be problems in the future, like watching movies like this gives you ideas. Although like I guess like I've always had like the prepared kit, but I guess that's more. Well, I don't know if it's because of necessarily Walking Dead. I guess I didn't have like the emergency kit until after Walking Dead came out, so maybe like subconsciously I was ready to go. Like
being from Florida, you're supposed to have like an emergency kit at all times with like the batteries, flashlights, non-perishable foods, just in case that something happens. Look at Florida, always prepared. So if you get this at YMSradio.com.